This is a breaking news story. You're watching a police chase at least end with a guy being chased, and he's on foot here.
All right, let's go to 7's Ralph Rayburn in Skyforce with what we know. Ralph?
Oh, this is a chase that came down south from the turnpike out west off of US 27. You see two men that are fleeing from the police right now, both of them wearing hoodies, a black hoodie and there's a second suspect right there. We're in the area of Northwest 29th Court off 199th Street, and they are running through the yards here. They were driving a gray SUV, a vehicle that was being followed by the Broward Sheriff's Office helicopter and one of the Miami-Dade police helicopters. They bailed out in the area, as we said, this would be just south of the county line there, around 199th Street and 36th Avenue. Now you see they're still on the run here in the neighborhoods. We're just going to keep our camera trained on them. Their vehicle is now about a block away off of 37th Avenue. You see them cutting through the backyards of some houses here, over fences, through bushes, and they continue to flee from the police. But they're not going to get too far because, as we said, there are two police helicopters up here following these. As you see the helicopter go right through the shot right there, and we've got these two guys. Now the three of them have caught back up together, the three that bailed out of that vehicle, and they continue now to run. Let me see which direction they're going. They're going westbound here. We do have a vehicle with the door open there. We have one person has now slacked off a little bit, and so we're going to stay with these two fellows here as they run around the backs of the homes here in this area west of Pro Player Stadium. You see that helicopter in a very tight circle. They're come up to a canal here, and we do have police officers arriving on the scene here. These are Miami Gardens police officers here, and also officers out of Miramar. And we're just going to keep the camera a little wider here as the dog goes in now. Joe, if we can slide a little to our left, if that's possible. We see them now clearing fences here. A canine officer with his dog in pursuit. Let's see where we are right here. There's that helicopter again going through our picture, but again, the situation that is being monitored by numerous agencies here. These fellows are considered dangerous. They were allegedly involved in some kind of a burglary or possible burglary in the area up north there off of Highway 27. That's the area that they were headed towards anyway when the chase first started, but they came down eastbound on the turnpike, got off in Red Road, and then weaved around in the area of 38th Court. I'm looking at very closely here now. It's a GPS 38 Court and 199th Street, which would put us just on the south side of Pro Player Stadium. You see police officers here with guns drawn, and they have the dog there. Let's see what happens, Joe. We're going to need to go over the top here just a little bit.
So, Ralph, this could be kind of a tricky situation. We didn't see them for a while. I mean, we don't know if people are home. We did see, like you said, the canine officer there. Looks like he's cornering in on somebody very close.
We've got somebody running here. Let's see where they're going.
Well, Lynn, I think you're right. The concern here is that they might be trying to get into one of these homes to elude the police that are on their tail. We see the shack there and also the dog. It seems like they're a lawn away from the last guy we saw, but as you mentioned, I haven't seen them in the last 30 seconds or so.
Well, that helicopter you see going through, on my scanner I can hear him advising these guys that exactly which house it was that the last time he saw the guys where they went into. So they have the area. It's kind of perimeterized right now. You see officers running back and forth there. So again, we'll follow the officers here. Last place that we saw them was back here in the backyard here. So it's unknown at this point exactly where they are. But as we said before, we can stay with this activity here and see what the police officers come up with.
So, Ralph, there's three of them. As we can see, that officer at the very bottom there running toward that large tree, trying to find a suspect. So there's three of them, yes, and we're hearing where this may have started with a burglary. Do we know if they're armed? I mean, I know all officers assume they are at this point.
Yeah, we have an officer here with his gun drawn at gunpoint. Let me brighten this up a little bit for you so you can see a little bit better there. It looks like they may have suspects here somewhere in the trees in the backyard of a house that borders, again, as we said earlier, on a canal here in the Miami Gardens, what would be the Miami Gardens area. This is going to be, I'm looking out my window, I can see the stadium out my right window, and out my left I see a police helicopter right off to my left. So the officers here in the backyard of a home. Let's see if I can get, well, we've got some activity right there on that side of the fence. It looks like maybe they're taking somebody into custody right there. it's kind of hard to see. We'll just hold that up. Yeah, they're definitely taking somebody into custody right there. They've got some people on the ground. If I slide over any more with the camera, I think we're going to be looking down through the trees. So we'll wait till they get these guys on their feet.
Definitely
There you go. You can see them
yeah.
now. Fence
top.
taking a beating as they continue to try to detain these subjects here, the 3 guys that they were pursuing. Again, there you go. You got one guy being brought out now. That's the one in the blue shirt being taken around the side of the house there, around the fence line. So we'll widen the camera out here. Just wait for the second one to be brought out, and then we can kind of sort all of this out. But again, in the area of 38th Avenue, 38th Court, 3 subjects now being taken into custody by police officers here from Miami Gardens. We have uniform and plainclothes officers here that responded in the area, along with the 2 helicopters, one from BSO, as we said earlier, along with the one from Miami-Dade. Here you see the second suspect being brought out and the dog following him behind there. So they've got 2 of the 3 that we see right now being taken into custody in the area of 199th Street, right off of 38th Court. There was a brief foot chase. The guy took off through the backyards of houses, over fences, through bushes and things like that. They split up for a while. There were 2 running together and a third person that was also being pursued. They got back together at a street corner, and then again they cut and ran when they heard the police cars coming. And what you're looking at right now are 2 of the 3 subjects are being walked out of what is now part of or the end of a police chase that occurred here up in Miami Gardens.
All right, so could be possibly a very good day for police. Got at least 2 of the 3 suspects so far, and nobody hurt there in Miami Gardens. But we're going to keep watching because, as we saw and Ralph indicated, it appears one other suspect.
Well, we saw when we picked this up, we saw the guy in the blue sweatshirt, we saw the guy in the black sweatshirt, and then they sort of picked up the third guy that was wearing, I guess, the gray sweatshirt, and that's when all 3 then set out to try to find a place to, it appeared, to get away from police. So we see now the 2 of the 3 now in custody, but as you mentioned, Lynn, that third person we don't see at this point in cuffs.
Ralph, can you widen out a little bit? It seems like everybody's converged here. What else do you see where the other homes were?
Well, as we focused on the action that was visible to us here, we'll bring the camera back out. It looks like predominantly that the police officers that gathered here outside of this apartment complex or whatever. These are single-family homes here, adjoined homes here in the area of Miami Gardens and 199th Street. The only activity that we see right now is what you're looking at. The officers, they just checked the 2 fellows. They have been handcuffed now and will be processed and put in the back of arriving police cars in a short period of time. A little congratulations there going on between the police officers for their quick work, I would imagine. And we'll bring the camera back out here just a little wider and see if we can see, like I said before, it's the police officers are here. This seems to be the area they're concentrating on. Yeah.
All right, so Ralph, just to reset here, we believe, at least police believe, that they may have been involved or connected somehow to a burglary in, what was it, Collier County?
Well, that's that information is new to me. When we first heard the pursuit going on, it was out on the Turnpike extension, and they were coming. They ended up turning eastbound. We intersected them just off as they got off at in the Red Road area there, in the area between Red Road and 37th Avenue, and came southbound. And they were on 199th Street. We followed them for a brief period of time. What happened was, with police officers, once they established visual contact with the aviation unit, that's one of the helicopters there, the ground units just stayed back and waited for these guys to come to a stop. They made a turn there off of 199th Street. They parked the car underneath a tree. 3 of them got out and ran through the yards, and just indicative of the area where they bailed out may be an area where their home, where their residence is, or in the area of the residence, because they seem to know their way through the streets there and the neighborhoods and the backyards pretty easily there. They seem to be determined to get to some place, but they ran out of real estate. They came up on a canal and had no place to go when the police took them into custody.
And so it looks like there are definitely several agencies involved in this takedown. Miami Gardens Police, Opa-locka Police, K-9 units, and it looks like the police and other officers are spreading out looking for this third suspect, and you saw the helicopter go by as well looking.
Right, look, it looks like they're going to go back and canvass that area where they were before, because it's very possible that the guy gave them the slip as they went over through the yard. So they know that they saw the 3 of them go into this area, and 2 of them came out. So logic says that the third one is probably hiding somewhere in there. They'll bring that second dog in now, and probably go through the area, see if he can pick up the scent there of the suspect they're looking for. And again, we'll train the camera on this activity for the time being, and we'll pull out once in a while here and show you what's going on with the other two guys. But again, the area, I wish I could get my GPS just to kick out an address for you, because I could give it for the ground crews, but it's just not doing that right now. But in the area, just west of 27th Avenue there, I see. So it'd be about 29th, 30th Avenue maybe is where we ended up. 30th Avenue off 199th Street. Okay, we're going to just continue with our commentary here. Joe, let's slide over the top a little bit here and just look down to see what these guys are doing.
And remind everybody you're watching 7 News at 5 o'clock. Mike and Lynn have wrapped things up. Belkis Narayan, Craig Stevens with you now at the top of the hour. If you've been watching, multi-agency effort to corral 3, perhaps 4 people believed to have been involved in some sort of burglary. Ralph Rayburn's high above to bring us the latest, and we're partway there, Ralph.
Yeah, we're partway there. We've 2 of the 3 subjects that the police officers were pursuing, from what we're hearing now, may have been in Collier County. Burglary suspects wanted for questioning. They came south and then east on the Turnpike extension, and ended up here in the neighborhoods of Miami Gardens, where they bailed out of their vehicle and on foot led police on about what would be about a 5 or 6 minute chase before they ran into an impassable canal there. I guess they didn't want to jump in the water there. They skirted a tree line. We saw 2 of the 3 taken into custody right here in the backyard of this house. And then police now are concentrating their efforts again to find that 3rd subject, which they believe is back here. We saw a canine officer go in. We have the officers with weapons drawn there. There you see that the dog there and the handler searching this area. It's a wooded area here. Bring the camera back out just to establish our location. That's a canal that runs east and west, just to the west of Pro Player Stadium. You see police officers across the canal on the other side, so they have the area perimeterized, as we said earlier, and what they're trying to do now is get that 3rd subject into custody. It looks like they've given up on the search in the backyard, but again, here are again the pictures of the 2 subjects here that bailed out of that gray SUV about what would be maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, maybe 10 minutes ago.
Ralph, I imagine there's many agencies involved here. Any idea how many and which agencies are involved at this point? If they're trying to set up this perimeter, I imagine they need as many officers on deck as possible to secure that area.
Yeah, judging by the vehicles here, I know that that's Miami Gardens, and Miramar borders this area to the north. Also, we had Florida Highway Patrol on the highway. We have Broward Sheriff's Office helicopter, so there's a possibility that some of their officers are here. These are county vehicles right here that you can see, the green and the white and green ones, and then there's some unmarked cars for officers that are doing undercover work and surveillance work in the area. Of course, when they call this out, when this chase starts, all units in the area that receive that tactical information on their radios are encouraged to respond to assist the officers in stopping the vehicle and then taking those subjects in custody.
But for people watching at home, technically this is the city of Miami Gardens, correct?
It's definitely Miami Gardens, yes ma'am.
And to reiterate, we have 2 people, 2 young men, you see them right there, who are in custody, and they are looking for one other guy who'd been, we saw them, the 3 of them. At times they split up, and then at times they sort of got back together as they were making their escape on foot. So they have the 2 of them in custody right now, and they're looking for one other guy at this point in time.
And just to reiterate, Ralph, you mentioned this is south of County Line Road in Miami-Dade County, in the area of 199th Street and 29th Avenue. Is that correct? Give us
that's very close.
The area.
That's very close. This is a community that has a series of turnarounds and cul-de-sacs. You can see there police helicopters still going through the area. But to give you an idea, if I pan the camera off to the right there, the next thing that you would see would be Pro Player Stadium on the other side of 27th Avenue. That would give you a good indicator of, I'm not Pro Player, what's it called now? Sunlight Stadium.
Sunlight.
We all make that mistake, Ralph. All right, give us a sense, give us a flavor. Did they put one of these young men in the car there, or they just split them up?
Yeah, they are splitting them up. There you go. You see this one now. Now he'll be frisked a second time here by this police officer to make sure that doesn't have any weapons, and just to get any ID or any information they can off of that suspect before they put him in the back of that car. And of course, the idea there is being that they want to get the individual statements and stories from the suspects, and then compare notes and see exactly what what they can flesh out of this as to where these guys are from and who they are and what exactly they're involved with.
And speaking of frisking them, Ralph, should we assume, or do you have information, are these people armed, and this third one that's still out there running and on the loose, might he possibly be armed? And obviously people in that area need to be aware and maybe stay inside and just lock the doors.
Well, it'd probably be a good idea to, when there's police activity in your neighborhood, to stay indoors. We've had no indication that they're wanted for anything other than burglary, not to make light of it, but maybe in possession of burglary tools, but we haven't heard anything about any weapons. We do have some videotape we believe is available. If they can, anytime they want to roll that, we can make some comments on what we saw as we arrived here on the scene there.
Okay, so
how about we'll look at this, Ralph, because I know they want to communicate some information to you. So we'll hang on the tape while they communicate what they need to you, and okay. You can see we watched this unfold live a few minutes ago. This is, of course, before they bailed and scattered in Miami Gardens. No more than 20 minutes ago, I guess it was.
This is, according to some reports, the people in the van there, in this car that they were following, were wanted for a burglary in Collier County, headed back towards Miami-Dade County, and a chase ensued. Then you can see they bailed out of the car, and you can see these three people hopped over fences and took off running as police continued their pursuit, trying to catch up to the three people that police are now after. They managed to apprehend two. Two were arrested. A third is still out there on the loose, and that is who police from several agencies, canine units are involved as well. They've got the chopper up, now trying to find this third person that was last seen south of the County Line Road in the area of 199th Street and 29th Avenue, not far, according to Ralph, from Sun Life Stadium, and that's what's going on in Miami Gardens at this hour.
As we prepare to bring Ralph back in, you look at this, and you know, these guys may not be rocket scientists, but they've got some clue. You look up, you see the police choppers, you see the television news choppers. Even if they haven't caught you, they know where you are. So it's just a matter of time before they catch you. Ralph, I know you're able to join us once again as we go back to those the live pictures of what we have happening now.
All right, we can take a look at one more piece of videotape.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do that. We have the arrest of those subjects being taken into custody along the fence line. Unfortunately, right now I've lost a monitor that would allow me to see that videotape, but we did see police officers in the backyard of the homes here with a canine officer. The dog alerted behind a beige fence. We saw the police officers what looked like maybe a minor struggle there as they subdued those suspects behind the fence underneath those trees there, and then a short time later we saw them being walked out. The two of them, the two subjects, two of the three, they were walked to the back of waiting police cars, and have since that time now been processed through. They've been frisked, they're cuffed, and they've been placed in the back of police cars. On our live picture that we're looking at right now, we've got a police officer back in that backyard. The dog went around the back with his handler, and they are now back underneath those trees there. Looking, and we've got, again, as we said earlier, on the other side of the canal there, we have officers who have been scanning the tree line there, looking for any movement to see if they can bring that third subject into custody here.
All right,
Ralph. It's not happened at this point. Yeah, go ahead.
We'll certainly check back with you. To bottom line it right now, unfolding in the Miami Gardens section of Miami-Dade County, we have 2 men in custody. Police are still looking for one other. We'll get back to Ralph and his pictures and his information just as soon as we need to.